Hello and welcome everybody to the True Seekers Mastermind Alliance. That's
Yes, we're
right.
back. Mhm.
We are back together.
We are back.
And one. You know who it is. Your hosts with the mosts, right? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
you had to do the emphasis on the.
Yeah, I had to do it so because it's
We've been
plural.
through
It's
some
two of us.
hiccups and some things, and we'll catch you up on separate episodes. But I'm just letting you know it's been one heck of a ride. Heck versus hell. He's definitely letting you know that one. I'm just letting
It's been a little journey. It's been a little journey,
you.
everybody.
It's
But
the
we are
real
back
double
on
dosage of
track.
life. Yes.
Hopefully we
TSMA,
didn't.
True Seekers Mastermind Alliance. Boom! I had to get out of my system. Sorry, heck. Sorry.
We actually didn't have too much of a hiccup. Actually, we kind of just kept going and kept it flowing. Nobody
Well,
would
we
have
kept
even
it
noticed.
flowing, but the hiccup is what we had to deal with personally. Personally, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like we're not used to triumphs and trials and tests, but it's just kind of like curveballs will definitely slap you in perspective.
A little bit of governmental issues, put it that way.
Isn't that every moment?
Mm-hmm. All right. See, that's how we know. That's how we know the enemy is here to attack, steal, kill, and destroy. You heard? We are here. We are back with another one for you, lovely, beautiful souls. All you, we'll say what did we say last time?
TSMAers,
Alliancers?
TSMAers, TSMAers.
TSMAers. We'll say that. Okay. And this one is going to be a really good one. Wherever it is that you are listening to this on, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for being a part of the Alliance. Okay. So we want to kind of just jump into it a little bit because we just got to get into it. I'm still getting my feet dipped back in, I guess you could say, to where I'm not as used to rolling out an outro intro again, just because it has been a little bit. But we are back, moving, striving, and keeping it going. So this episode is the deception of perception. Now you may be asking yourself, what in the heck versus hell, where the truth we tell is
You're
going on here?
funny. I was gonna say,
Uh,
what deception and perception? What's this
Deception
about?
and
Something, yeah.
but
I'm
I
gonna go
mean,
through
it
some
kind of
notes here in the background while you get.
go ahead, go ahead. So it kind of is self-explanatory a little bit because in anything in life that we go through, we always have our own personal way of how we view things. And a lot of it comes from our foundation. A lot of it comes from where we either grew up in, what we've experienced personally, the culture in which we're raised in, the certain things that we have been exposed to, or our love, our hobbies, our loves, things that we like to do and enjoy to do, whatever it may be. Somebody can go and there could be, we'll take it for example. I think we've actually used this couple years back. We used this example, but take for example, if there were 10 people standing around an apple tree and each of them were set to describe the tree to, we'll say, an alien or something like that, and its uses and what it could be used for, what we use it for as humans, what you would do with the tree, for example, right? Let's say one of those people just have absolutely no connection to the tree, and they're like, well, maybe not even knowledgeable. They're like, well, it's just a tree that gets in the way. And let's say there's another person that lives in, colder places. It's like, okay, well, that's a tree and it is used. We chop it down to use it for firewood. Another one, they live in a very remote place where there is a lot of water surrounding them, and they're like, okay, well, that we actually use it so that we can build rafts and boats and move around so we can go catch our food. And in another place, another person's over here looking at it as, well, that's a work of art. It's so intricately designed so
Mhm.
that in the way that it's made, and it provides oxygen for us and provides fruits and vegetation and everything. So each of them ultimately have their own perception of it. Someone could look at it as a good thing, even, as something like, oh, well, I remember that my uncle or dad, they made us a rope swing one time, so it's a play thing. They made us a rope swing, so we used to love that tree. And then another one could look at it almost with fear, where they're like, okay, well, I was climbing trees whenever I was younger and I fell out of the tree and broke my collarbone or broke my arm, whatever
Mhm.
it may be. But ultimately, it's that perception that we have that comes from our experiences. Okay, so that's one of the guidelines that we want to set for this conversation, that
Yeah.
we continue to progress in it, I guess you could say. And that's really what this conversation is going to be about, is about those deceptions that we get from not having the full out perception of what it is to see. And we already actually have the next conversation lined up, right, Lex?
Yeah,
The
we do. We do. I was
Yeah.
enjoying a little bit of my mixture of my lemonade. Um, hey, I'm a natural
Hey,
putting
you're
stuff
good. I
together
got my
chemist.
own right
Thank
here,
you.
so
I had to put the
perfect.
strawberry with the pink lemonade and get the watermelon filling, could be a little bit more natural. But at the same time, yeah.
Mm,
I want to say from the notes that I gathered, let's just go off the topic of that.
let's
So,
go.
well, let's do it. Let's do it. We have, I remember Mr. Heck over here has sent that, but and I'm not really used to this new messaging platform, unfortunately. Messaging Plus, thanks Verizon, appreciate it. Disappeared on us. So deception of perception that I had with some of the notes is the perception of the front that is put forward with our lack and limit of perception, like Heck was breaking down. Then the innocence of a child. Next bullet point is innocence of a child getting kidnapped from stranger offering candy. Now, I can utilize this.
Mm,
Almost said también too. I can't even say two. I was
mhm.
like también. También for those who understand what también means, like as well too. To
También.
say that, well, yeah, I was offered, I felt ashamed at first from my personal chapter, which you'll find out more in the journey of the Lex effect or illumination. And certain ones with RDDC episodes as well. But it was to the point where I didn't want anything. I just wanted to be left alone. One of my predators as a child, small child, I remember they used to say, boom, listen, so forth, it's okay, but just be quiet. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna be the one in trouble. It's gonna be your fault, okay? Make sure you be quiet because I'm gonna be mad at you. Your mom and your dad are gonna be mad at you. It's gonna be horrible for you. And I already felt bad when I got in trouble for maybe going outside with my shoes and tracking mud in the house per se, a little bit or something. So I didn't know what that was to displease my parents. And I always felt as the little as young as one insignificant to a certain point to where even though they said I was the baby, which I've never been treated like that. I'm just saying, teeny little aspects I may see, maybe, but it wasn't worth the cuss. It was.
Mhm.
I remember it was a one big bag of candy that this person in particular brought, and I remember my siblings were like, What did he get you that for?" And my sister, God rest her soul, our sister, she looked at me because I didn't know she was going through it in a worse way too. And she looked at me like she knew. And it's so amazing the silence between two. I'm gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
The silence, the conversation of the loud voice in the silence. And she looked at me like, why in the hedge would you ever get a big bag of candy like that? And I didn't know it was the same perpetrator hurting her. It's amazing the hell we both lived quietly and our eyes still spoke the truth to each other as children. And for some reason,
Yeah.
the parents were so busy with bills in life, they didn't even see it. And I'm not going to blame them for it, but if people paid attention better, you see different things that needed attention too. So I'm just going to say, people might feel guilty, whatever you feel, but hey, you have to take that up with the creator. Ain't that me? But candy, like simple as that. Now, in my case, you might say, well, Lex, how does that connect? Because, it already happened to you. So therefore you knew the perpetrator, you knew it was going to come. Well, still, the whole point is I trusted the person because I grew up around them. So the deception of my perception is they're not going to hurt me because I grew up around them. And most time, often
Mm,
than not, the people closest to you are the ones to hurt you the worst and the most.
absolutely.
And you can have better blood from people who are not quote, we're all blood related regardless of how we look at it. Even my past episode I did, I think it was can't remember the name of it. I think it's called being your best friend or being your best friend or something like that. It's even if 1% it doesn't matter. We're coming from the same creator. We have the same essences working through us. And I look at that and I'm thinking, man, if I would have known, like if I would have had the knowledge I did now as a child, ooh, imagine what I would be now. Ooh, that's one thing I wish I could go back to. But what about trick or
Mhm.
treat, for example? Every year, okay, I'm gonna say it and get mad if you want, but maybe you should really take a look at this, everybody. The truth seekers, mastermind alliance, we're coming together to speak the truth, no matter whose feelings get hurt. Okay,
That's
not
right.
rude and cocky, but we're telling you what it is, and you can tell us how you feel as well. I look at that like we send our baby. Now, more parents are going and driving behind the kid and stuff like that. But really, how are you going to see in a group of kids with all costumes on if one gets snatched up? You can think that. And some are on their phone. I've seen parents this past Halloween on their phone, just hanging out, thinking their kid's going to come back to their car and they're blocked out. Doesn't mean you're looking at it. But still, the point, there's people putting nasty body fluids, poison, sleeping pills, all kinds of stuff. And they did this experiment where parents were sat there and his kids went to a particular house and they're like, hey, they gave them a talk before then. And people are like, let's see how trustworthy you built your kids. Now they're around the age of, I don't even know, like 7 to 10 and just variation. I think they're all on the age of 12. And they were like, okay, don't go in a stranger's house, don't get in the car, don't do it. Okay. And they all went as a group. These kids that were coached by their parents, they all went as a group. They didn't know each other per se, but they went as a group as trick or treaters. And all of a sudden, okay, they went to the door of this camera filled house, was set up. And he was like, oh, well, I got some candy for you. Oh, you know what? I got to refill the bowl. I got a lot of candy, so much stuff in the basement. It's like a big toy house of candy everywhere. I think it was like a guy dressed up in a kind of a maybe late 50s or so forth. And they looked at each other like, come on in, just come on into no, just come on into the doorway. It's okay. Just the door. You're right there. And they're looking at it like, yeah, you're right. We could just turn the knob and be out. Not thinking in their little minds, right? Even someone older, is the door have a secret lock to it or maybe latch down where I can't get out?
Hmm.
Who's going to come and ambush us at that point? Some kids are on that because I thought about perception too. Even when I was being assaulted as a child, I still ran out of the house with my little tank top kind of dress shirt on. And a lady stopped me and grabbed my hand and asked me, where are you going, little girl? And I was telling her I was trying to find my mom. She went to the school for track and field with my siblings. And she said, okay, well, how about this? Get in my car and I'll bring you up there. And we had just learned in school right there. I don't know if it was kindergarten or what level that was, but I remember they said the firefighters came and they're saying, hey, remember, what do? Don't get in the car with strangers. Don't touch a stranger. So we all learned that. And I'm like, if I didn't learn that lesson though, even though my mom taught me it felt different from outwards, I would have walked in the car with her. And I thought to myself, at that little age, being hurt, sexually abused, halfway dressed, scared out of my wits, never went past the end of the block by myself before. I was so desperate to get away from that situation. I didn't care. So at the same time, I knew though, there's a chance I got to go back to that abuse. But I don't want to get in a car with someone and never see my mom again. That's what kept me here. The power of God, yes, but the love I had for some help. I wouldn't tell her at the time, but she said she couldn't figure out why I showed up with the strange lady with barely any clothes on. Because the lady wanted to go back to the house and get me some clothes, and we did. And I was so terrified because I couldn't tell her what I was going through because I didn't know what it was called. And the perpetrator or the predator family, wannabe family, was sleeping upstairs. Thankfully, they had passed out. So I said, okay, you wish I'll wait here. And I ran upstairs and grabbed one of my sister's little shirts and stuff and tried to put them on as fast as possible, running out the door. And she realized, because I saw her face, she realized whatever I was running from was right behind me in that house. And she kind of snatched me up with her arm and we ran. And I remember that now as a grown adult, oh my God, it breaks my heart for how much fear was inside of me. But I thank the Lord for how I am right now. But there's millions of babies that don't go home every day from the perception and deception. And it's up to us to look at that. Yeah, I don't care if it's your child or not. I don't care what it is. And even from yourself, what are you walking into? Are you going into a blind day? Oh, my friend hooked me up. And there's actually a book that I was going to go. It's the P-TAP series. I'm going to say it like that. But it was about somebody hooking someone up and it going completely wrong turn. Okay. No cliche to the movie. But it was like the whole point where I'm like, you think you can trust. And even people who are married to each other for 30 plus years, 13 years, sometimes, people want to say less time. You can be married, you could be with someone the entire 20, 30 years and barely know them. And you could be with someone for 2 or 3 months and know them more than 30 plus years. That is proven. So I can't really say a time frame on, oh, we've only been together for 3 years. Yeah, but what have you done in the time to make you feel there? My time, for example, with Mr. Heck versus Hell over here, I feel like I've been around him for like the last minimal decade. And I'm like, wow. And it's not a long stringent. It's like we correlate so many things. It feels like, man, I've been around him for like 10 years already. Like, what's going on? I'm like, wow, it's that time and longevity you spend. So, him, for example, throwing a pie in my face, I wouldn't put it past him because he's Heck. No, I'm just
True.
like,
True.
yeah, you know better. But I'm just saying, like for him, I feel, and I know enough in his character that if I didn't have any lunch, he would give me some. He wouldn't put poison in it. I feel like if someone was coming at me in the wrong way, you might say, "Oh, he's just nice." But no, it's the perception of what we do, the lineages of where we put our children in harm's way, or our mind in harm's way, or the poison they could come with. Some kids got super sick, some died, candy being poison, bodily fluid seen in there. Some people who had complete, I want to say venereal disease, what the name is, but it's foul, But what are we seeing? That's the deception, our perception. I really love this man. He's everything I ever wanted. He just blacks my eyes every night and chokes me out. But he still paints a perfect picture of what I want in the future. I really love this woman. She's amazing. Even though I turn around, she's throwing hot grits on my lap, and there's guys texting her, "Hey, she has all the other specifications that I see as a
Right.
perfect mate." What do we really see? What do we really have that can align us with that? So I'm going to pass the mic back over to you, so you can get some more clarity to all of those and give me some more too, and let me know your thoughts.
Absolutely. And that's actually one of the things that I guess I would consider a fault between within myself. I think you can very much concur to that as well.
Yeah.
Is seeing the best in people. We amplify that to create it the vision in which we want to paint and we want that person to be.
tell it, Hag, deal it.
And
Ay,
you know, and
ay.
and we truly deceive ourselves to believe that these people are this,
Yeah.
and it's
It's like believing the lie, huh? Believing the
yeah.
fairy tale, even though you know there's a villain, you still like, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that horn. Oh, nope, I didn't see that. It's kind of like
Yeah, I guess it would kind of be like Two Face, the Two Face from Batman, how he's literally got two faces. Is we only look at that face that we see. We don't look at them as a whole, as who they are as a whole. We only look at the part that we want to see.
or the part that we wish to change that we do see.
That
Because
too,
they're
the
not, well, they're
potential.
not like that with us. Okay, well, maybe we know we are different between you and we know. But I'm saying, like,
And
people say, well, I can change that. Can you?
mhm. Just like the way we talked about the tree, right? Some people look at that tree with potential. Other people see it for what it is. Some people look at the tree and they're like, "Oh, it's a tree that bears fruit, provides food, creates oxygen, provides shade, provides a home for animals." And other people look at the potential and they're like, "Yes, I'm growing this tree so that later down the line I can create a boat, I can create rafts, I can create the oars, I can create a fishing pole." And we see it from a potential standpoint, and it's not to say it's wrong per se, but it can have its faults because in the same way, a lot of people have that too. Like you were just talking about, it's like, oh, well, he's everything I see in this man, yet I'm getting abused every day. He's hurting me, he's physically assaulting me, but you know what? I see something in him. I see that potential of what he can be, and that's where it can get dangerous because one thing we have to remember is that we cannot be in charge of somebody else's path. We can influence it, but ultimately that's all we can do. We can't control it. And that's actually a huge thing that is almost like it's weird. It's actually instilled in a lot of females.
Really?
Like they want a
Do
man
tell,
that
do
they can
tell.
see do bad so that they can change him to be good. Almost like, okay, he'll only change for me. That whole saying that's like they'll change for the right one. Females are like that too, where they look for that wrong one so that they can try to turn into the right one. Ultimately, right? It's the same thing of love.
But
Yes, man.
I will have to add that Lex effect on it.
Absolutely, we need to hear the Lex effect on it, but we will save that for part two as we are cutting this and splitting it into two. We did anticipate it to be a little bit longer, but we love each and every one of you. Remember to be the change, feel the passion, and embrace the power of that wonderful spirit that is always calling within you. And make sure you use it to discern everything that is constantly being talked around and the actions being taken around you to ensure that you can change and elevate to becoming one with that spirit. We love you all, and we will catch you on the flip side.